Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be answering the question, how would I judge Canada's Drag Race Season 5? This season just finished airing, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers about the winner or etc., turn this video off and come back later. Now, let's get into it. So, in the first episode, there was already a twist. One queen ended up in the bottom for her entrance look, second one for the challenge, and the last one for the runway on the main stage. I do like this twist, and so I decided to leave that in. So for the entrances, I do agree with Jaylene time being high and with Tara being in the bottom. But originally Michaela was in the top for her verse, and yes, she did absolutely amazing, but my personal favorite verse was Helena's, so I swapped them. Michaela would be for sure high if it was being judged normally, though. Her verse was my third favorite. The queen who had my second favorite verse was actually Perla, the one who ended up in the bottom for it. I'm gonna be honest, y'all, when I was doing some predictions based off the entrances only, I thought Perla might be the pork chop, but gosh, I was so wrong. But after the first episode, I still thought she's gonna be an early out because they put her in the bottom for no reason, and she was like, "Yeah, I get it. Everybody slayed it. I tried." I was like, "What do you mean, girl? You also did amazing and could have been in the top. You should be pissed right now." Anyway, I decided to put Uma God in the bottom for her verse. I would agree with Xana, Sanjana, or Uma being there, but I would choose Uma. As for the runways, I do agree with the Virgo Queen being in the top for it. She did this 80s-inspired disco diva, and I am totally obsessed with this style. Tiffany and Co definitely was the weakest on the runway, so she's gonna stay low. That means Helena Poison and the Virgo Queen will face off in the lip sync. Originally, the Virgo Queen won against Michaela, and I kept her as the winner here as well. I think Helena wouldn't be able to outperform her. So now it's time for the second episode, and the beaver is back. It was the acting challenge, and I didn't change anything in this episode. The group of Perla, Minnie, and Helena Poison did the best, and Perla did deserve to win the challenge. Also Tara, Tiffany, and Xana were the clear bottom three. Perla had to save one queen from lip-syncing, and she chose Xana, which was understandable because she was the only one who was not in the bottom last episode. That leaves Tara, Nova, and Tiffany and Co to battle it out in the lip-sync. Tiffany ended up staying, which I do agree with, because she clearly did better than Tara. That means Tara Nova is still going to be the pork chop of the season, and we're going to move on to episode 3, which was the lip-sync slay-offs. I didn't like the concept of the teams, but I didn't change it, and the teams stayed the same. In the first round, we saw the battle between Michaela and Minnie, and we can all agree Michaela clearly won. The next round was between Jaylene and Helena. Helena ended up winning, and I completely agree with that. The third round was between Xana and Uma. Surprisingly, Uma God won the lip sync, and I think that was the correct choice. I don't think Xana did as bad as they were trying to convince us. It was pretty close. The next round was between Tiffany and Co. and the Virgo Queen. I feel like they wanted Tiffany out so bad at this point, and when she had her best moments, camera went to Virgo. Based on what we saw, I agree with Virgo's win. That means we have a tie. The teams have 2 points each. That means the lip sync between Sanjana and Perla will be the deciding factor. Let me tell you, this was hands down the best lip sync of the episode. That one, and the one between Perla and Tiffany. So, originally Sanjana ended up winning the lip sync, but I do not agree with that. You can call me a Perla stan all you want, but I do think she should have won that. That means the team of Michaela, Jaylene, Uma, Tiffany, and Perla won the slay-offs, and we're going to be having the first major change in the elimination order. But first, who won the challenge? Between Michaela, Uma, and Perla, Perla's performance was absolutely the most captivating, which means she earned the power of the Golden Beaver for the second time in a row. The way production hated her, for some reason, was really hard to watch. Anyway, in this scenario we have the bottom 3 of Minnie, Xana, and Sanjana. I'm not sure what Perla would do in this situation, but it probably would be a toss-up between Sanjana and Minnie. Sanjana did do the best out of the bottom three queens, however Minnie has slightly stronger track record. And also, I think Perla would know that Minnie really needs that beaver, and Sanjana can send Xana home, so I think the beaver would go to Minnie Wong. That means Xana and Sanjana are the bottom two queens of the week. I don't know how they would do performing to this song, but I think Sanjana would do better, which means we have to say goodbye to Xana. Originally, she made it to the top 6, but here, she is unfortunately the second out. In the next episode, we had the design challenge. The queens had to present 2 looks on the main stage, and one of them they had to make themselves. Minnie ended up winning, which I can see, I guess. Her first look was my absolute favorite, and the second one was also pretty strong, but not the strongest. I would give the win to Jaylene Time because her second look was in my opinion the best, and the look you made is more important than the one you brought from home. Helena Poison was originally high, but I switched her with Perla because I enjoyed her package more, and Helena's second look seemed a bit unfinished. Originally Uma, Sanjana, and Michaela were in the bottom 3, but I don't think Uma God did that bad. I think she was perfectly safe, and I have no idea why the Virgo Queen was not in the bottom. Honestly, the look she made was my least favorite. Even Michaela and Sanjana did better in my opinion. I'm sorry, but I just hate this look, so I decided to put her in the bottom over Uma. Also, I forgot to mention that, but I decided to keep Tiffany safe, because I don't think she would do as bad as the bottom 3. I know in the original timeline Jaylene said she would save Sanjana, but since Virgo is also in the bottom here, I think she would save Virgo instead. That means it's down to Michaela and Sanjana. Unfortunately, Sanjana's outfit fell apart, and she wasn't able to give her all. Michaela would for sure win the lip sync, which means Sanjana is still going to finish at 9th place. By the way, before we move on, I just want to give Xana the flowers she deserves. In this timeline, she didn't make it to this episode, but originally she did, and I have no clue why she was just safe. Honestly, if she was still there, I would give her the win. Both of her looks were really good. Anyways, in the next episode, we had the girl groups, and almost everybody knocked it out of the park. In this scenario, we have Tiffany here over Xana. I'm sure she would do good in this challenge, because her verse in Go Off Queen was really cool, but since everyone but Jaylene did great, I still put Tiffany in the bottom. Helena Poison is also there by default. If we didn't have the beaver, no one would be low. Anyway, I agree with Michaela Couture winning the challenge. Her verse was amazing, and her runway look as well. Virgo and Perla are going to stay high, because they also did a stellar job. So listen. Originally Helena Poison got saved, which was absolutely correct, because her track record was the strongest out of the bottom 3 queens, same to her performance in the challenge. However this time, Jaylene Time is the one whose track record are the strongest. I have no idea what Michaela would do in this scenario, but I think she would still save Helena. Even the judges said she was in the bottom only because she was more focused on helping Jaylene than on the performance. Not giving Helena the beaver is just not right because she clearly did the best out of the 3, and Jaylene did struggle the most. Also, Helena's track record is only a bit worse than Jaylene's. So it's down to Jaylene Time and Tiffany and co. Originally Xana sent Jaylene home here, and I think Tiffany would do the same. She's one of the stronger lip-syncers from the cast, and Jaylene isn't. That means we have to say goodbye to Jaylene Time, and we will be moving on to the next episode, which was the Snatch game. Originally Xana won, which was a questionable choice. I think they wanted her to shake things up and be strategic with the wooden beaver. Speaking of, I decided to get rid of it. I think that was too much. This twist would work well on Survivor, but not on Drag Race. Anyways, Xana is not here anymore, and I think the queen who should have been the winner of this challenge is Minnie. She was really funny, and I was surprised they didn't give her the win. Perla and Helena are going to be high because they did pretty good, and by the way, I totally understand Uma's frustration. This Snatch game was not that bad. Was it great? No. But there was plenty of worse Snatch games in the past, so it's not fair to make them feel bad. Anyway, as you can see, I decided to put Tiffany and Co. as safe. I was even considering to put her high. I don't think she would do as bad as Michaela, Uma, or Virgo. All three of them flopped hard, but I don't think Michaela did as bad as Uma and Virgo. For me, she was clearly the third worst. And since all three of them were in the bottom twice at this point, Minnie would for sure save Michaela. That means it's down to the Virgo Queen and Uma God. As we saw, Uma was a bit over it, and I don't blame her. But honestly, there was no way she would survive when she's in the bottom with Michaela or Virgo. Uma God is still gonna finish at 7th place, and it's time for the second design challenge. Nothing changes here. Minnie did do the best, so her winning this challenge was absolutely correct. Helena Poison was high originally, and I kept her high here as well, but honestly Michaela also could have been there. Xana originally went home this episode, and I don't think Tiffany would do better than Michaela, Perla, Minnie, or Helena, which means she has to lip-sync against the Virgo Queen. And Virgo would for sure stay in the competition, which means Tiffany and Co. is eliminated, placing 6th. She was one of the unluckiest queens from Canada's Drag Race history, because her team lost the slayoffs despite them doing better than the other team. And also, if the first episode was being judged normally, she would have had a solid safe placement. Now it's time for the talk show episode, and as you can see, we have one more change in the elimination order. But first, I do agree with Helena's win. She did a really good job, and I'm happy they finally gave her the flowers she deserves. She was really, really funny, and also her runway was hands down the best of the week. Virgo also arguably could have won this challenge. It was a really strong episode for her. Now listen. Originally Perla was the one who ended up going home in this episode. Did she lose the lip sync?
Yes.
Did she deserve to be in the bottom?
No.
This was really heartbreaking because she saw the writing on the wall and didn't even try to win the lip sync. She basically gave up, and how can you blame her? I do believe, though, that even if she was in the bottom in this scenario, she would survive because it would be her very first time being there. And so she would for sure be more motivated and ready to fight for her spot. I decided to put Minnie in the bottom too, since Perla really had more good moments during the challenge. Minnie's runway look this episode was flawless, let's give her that, but it is not enough to save her from lip-syncing. They just hated Perla's look, and it wasn't even that bad. Was it the best she ever looked?
No.
But it does not mean it was bad. She looked incredible, and yes, it fits the category. The mistreatment of Perla was really heartbreaking to watch, and also Brooke coming for her makeup, like girl shut up. Anyways, Minnie's track record is much stronger than Michaela's, but Michaela did great in this lip sync. Lip syncing isn't Minnie's strong suit, and keeping her could not have been justified. We have to say goodbye to Minnie right before the finale, and it is time for the final episode of the season. So in the final four we have Helena Poison, Michaela Couture, Perla, and the Virgo Queen. In the original outcome, everyone except for Minnie did really good in the finale. No shade to her, I was rooting for her and Helena, but I knew that Michaela and Virgo are going to be in the top two. Dare I say Helena's number was the best? Well, in my opinion, it really was. Here we have Perla instead of Minnie, and she proved she can come up with a really good verse. Perla's the name, come catch her tricks. Also, in this timeline, she really killed the season, and there's no way she's not going to be a part of the lip sync for the crown. So, originally Michaela Couture and the Virgo Queen were in the top two, but I decided to cut them both before the final lip sync. I think your performance in the whole season should count, not only your finale performance. Both of them were in the bottom 3 times, I believe, and since Helena didn't flop in her final performance, I don't think she deserves to be cut before the final lip sync. That means it's down to Helena Poison and Perla, and it is time to crown the winner. The winner of Canada's Drag Race Season 5 is
Perla.
Even though originally she didn't make the finale, I truly think she should have. I said it a couple times already, and I will say this again. Production just didn't give a shit about her, and that's one of the reasons this season was not my favorite overall. But I also want to say congratulations to the Virgo Queen, who ended up winning the season. She wasn't my winner pick, but that does not mean she didn't deserve to win the crown. And what do you think? Did you enjoy watching Canada's Drag Race Season 5? Do you agree with the winner, and if not, then who in your opinion should have won? Let me know in the comments and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.